Sounds interesting that far, but actually, when you want to book you, we have to talk about the price. I think there is not one line that I feared more than that one in my whole career. I was literally sitting on the phone and during each and every talk just waiting for the moment when it happens that they tell me, but now we have to talk about your fee, about the price. I was like, oh my God, what is now going to happen? And it frequently happened that they put me down on my fee, put me down on travel costs, put me down on whatever. Fortunately, this is now some years ago. I was quite lucky because we did a very big study on the speaker market, checking more than 5,000 speaker businesses worldwide. This has been done for a client of us, and the side effect was that it was quite good for my business as well, because then I could see what works and what does not work. And the big misunderstanding is that most people still think that price is something like you have an offer, you have a negotiation, and at the end, that's the price. And this is not going to happen anywhere. This is not going to happen anywhere in our speaking industry. At least not as long as you're working on a quality basis and if you can make a real living with speaking. So actually the price game, when I've been here yesterday, I went to the Tour Eiffel Tower, what I always do. I've been here 100 times, and I always go to the Tour Eiffel, Quai Branly. So you see all the street vendors, and you standing under the Eiffel Tower, and within 30 seconds you hear this chick, 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 chick. Those people approach you, It's like, no. But when I went back, I've seen a street vendor, and they all say 5 of those small pieces, €1, which is really cheap. And I thought possibly that may be not the small one, but the big one may be good for my office desk. I have been in Paris, so put it on there. Actually, there is only one thing on my office desk. I moved to London 3 months ago, so the only thing on my office desk is a small sign of the Shard, which is the largest building in London at the moment. Let's see what's going to happen next years. So I asked him, okay, how much is the big one? And he was like, yeah, €40. I was like, okay, this is not going to happen. €40 is definitely too much. So can you give me any better price? So he asked me where I come from, and I told him, well, I'm from London. Then he told me, okay, then I give it to you for €32. And I was like, okay, why 32? And he said to me, yeah, it's for export. I can deduct VAT. And I was like, yeah, sure. If you pay VAT, I will be the next president of this country. So come on. What is the real price? Then we negotiated, and we ended up 30, and he was not going below 30. So I was sure about one thing. This person is more confident about the quality of his product and the need of the market than 90% of the speakers worldwide are of their speeches. During our study, we had speakers. We did did a purchasing process. We told them, yeah, we're a company, we want to book you, and then we really tried what is possible. And we had one speaker, which of course was the worst example, but we had a lot of them. He started with a fee of €8,000, and after 4 weeks he was agreeing on 1,600. Still showing up. Topic, by the way, sales negotiation. This was not an exception. What do you think the average discount was we could achieve in the speaking industry? The average discount. We didn't give anything. We never get. It is pure discount on the fee. What was the average discount? Make a guess. Yeah, it's about 50%. It is about 50%. And our clients know that. Possibly you know David Ogilvy. I mean, this guy is running one of the most biggest marketing companies in the world. Founded that. Pricing is guesswork. So how can we succeed in a market where you have no limits? Possibly it's the same in France, but in Germany we actually have the case that a lot of trainers showing up. They tell me, I'm a speaker now. And when I ask them, okay, what's your motivation being a speaker? They tell me, well, it's quite easy. I have to work a full day normally for 3,000 euros, so now I can work like 1 hour for 6,000. This is definitely not the way it's going to work. But what to do? If we go back in history, nearly all of the languages here in the room are based on Latin or derived from that somehow. Pretium was never translated for price, just the money, the amount of money transferred. It always was about the value given to the person who receives some sort of service. So what does that mean for us? Concerning you, but yeah, make a good picture like that. That's good. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you. So you have 3 things to do when you want to get up with your brand, and it is create, communicate, and sustain your brand. And it is definitely, I don't want to say it is easy, but it is definitely possible for each and everyone, as long as you stick to some rules. And I mean, I looked at thousands of speaker businesses meanwhile, and I learned a lot from other speakers. And in my opinion, the reason why I am successful on the market is because all the people in these associations were so willing to share. There is normally not a single reason why Ron Carr, the former president of the NSA, or Christine, or whoever, or Randy Gage, sit together with me talking about my business, which possibly even could become a competitor. But they do, because they know there's a lot more need on the market than we could ever cover, and there is no reason not to share. So what is important when you want to create your brand? And by the way, we of course also check Randy Gage businesses, and if you ask him for like a discount, they just drop you out of the line. It's like, oh, you want discount? No, so possibly you then should book another speaker. But he's already a rock star. So what about us, the more or less normal people? I mean, we already have rock stars in the room. I don't belong to them, possibly. So what about create? And the first thing is innovation. Please step away from these people, and please don't be one of these people who start their speaker business and on their first website it always says the worldwide international #1 thought leader in, and then you can put in like any word. Each and every speaker starts obviously as the #1 in the world. So when someone tells me, well, the #1 in the world for X, my standard reaction, and people who know me a little better know, I'm laying back okay, give me a try. When I heard we now have the #1 in social media, I was like, oh yeah, come on. 1 million people on Twitter, sorry, what? Immediate proof of that. But at the beginning, it is totally fine when you say what is your expertise, and please don't claim that you are the only person who has that access to this knowledge, because it is not the case. For example, Shep, you speak about customer service. How many people only in the NSA in the United States speak, only the people in your association speak about customer service? All the people who speak on service. Yeah, so. Okay, yeah. So possibly a couple of thousand people. And there we have a very important point. If you go for innovation, I've seen lots of websites of speakers. They are the #1 in, and they always choose the same topics. It is leadership, it is sales, it is change, it is communication, and it is health. In that row. Why? Why these topics? Yeah, they think it's the biggest market, you can get the highest fees there, and health is simply a topic of trend. Yeah, trend jumping, we call that. So if you only see what are people speaking about, if you only take leadership, sales, and change, 80% of the speaker market worldwide is covered. So if you are in that area, prepare for some competition. And what we do not need is people who show off. Because when you pretend to innovate and you do not really do, people immediately, after your third sentence, know that this has not been said the first time. I mean, I just had a meeting where I've been like the third speaker, and the first speaker was #1 sales speaker of I don't know what country, and was talking about the AIDA system, like attention, interest, desire, action. I'm not an expert in sales, but I think that's quite old-fashioned. It is possibly, yeah, Frank. So it is possibly quite like 80s something, yeah. So #1 speaker in. If you want to innovate, you have to do really, really, really very deep research. I don't think that you speak like about Qigong just because someone told you. You just have quite some experience in that. And we all have seen that. The second thing is design. We already heard from Frank Furness that you need a killer website, and he's absolutely right with that. You possibly do not need 500 pages websites, but it must be absolutely on the point. I'm normally speaking to C-level people, and they take like 60 seconds to 120 seconds on my website, and then it's a yes or a no. And if this is not a fit, you're simply out of the business. The higher the level of decision makers is, the more on the point your website must be. When I open your website, within 5 seconds, I have to know, what do you speak about? For example, sales and technology, or marketing and whatever. But on your design, it must be very visible what you speak about. And the third thing is proven quality. Proven quality means that you have a very straightforward track record of what you have done. And if you deliver training for years, please tell people about that. When people book speakers, they want to know if you're able to transfer knowledge or not. In our associations, we have one problem. We normally have something like, the speakers are like the Champions League, the top level. These are the rock stars. When you in a speaker association tell someone, I do training, they're like, oh. They possibly think you don't make a living, you're homeless. You like took your last cents for going to this convention. Yeah, this is not, and if you tell someone, yeah, I'm a coach, this is even worse. Yeah, coach is below homeless. Yeah, this is no clue what that is, but actually it is. So get rid of that. People book me because so many people are talking about leadership. I mean, I call it sustainable leadership, which is already a little different, but there are so many people speaking on leadership. And I can tell those people when they ask me, what makes you special? Why can you talk about leadership? First, I'm a professor in that. Second, I owned my own company, and I started by my own, growing a company with more than 100 people. So possibly that's a track record to speak about leadership, and I still own this business. And most people buy into that. I see a lot of people speaking about leadership who have never seriously led a department, a unit, or even anything. They just read books about that. So have a very good track record of what you have done. If you want to train people to sing, you possibly should be a very great singer. Yeah? That possibly helps, otherwise it somehow makes a problem. So after you have now shown how to create your brand, you have to know how to communicate it. First is description. Very good tagline. So, I mean, like social media ninja really rocked. Yeah, this was like straightforward, on the point. I'm the expert in that. Small business lady is like, bam, there you go. And it must be like that. And believe me, this is never the first try. We just heard about that. So it takes months, possibly years, until you have the right description for what you really do. Second thing is positioning. The more topics you speak on, and by the way, we have speakers around the globe who get along very well with speaking on 2 or 3 or 4 topics, but their fee is severely, severely lower than the ones who focus on exactly one topic. I have colleagues in the German Speakers Association who tell me they speak about sales and leadership and teamwork, and they have 180 bookings per year. And I think this may be true. I don't know what you want, but I don't want to be 180 days on stage, which means possibly 250 days a year on the road. This must kill you sooner or later. I did that, so I know it kills you sooner or later, or nearly kills you. So position yourself in the area of your unique expertise, or be prepared to work a lot. These are the two ways to go. The third thing is packaging. Stephen Gilliland, a member of the National Speakers Association in the United States, told me you need a wow package. And he was absolutely right. When you send out something to your client, physical or via email, when they open it, it must be wow. 5 years ago, we sent a PDF, which was 2 pages long. It said, Niels Brabandt, booking 1 day. Fee, VAT, travel costs, final price. This possibly also is a wow, but possibly more wow that's expensive. Yeah, and this is not the wow you want to have. So prepare something, no matter if you send it out physically, what a lot of people do. I don't do that. We only send out via email because due to sustainability, I don't think that my own person is so important for the world that I should put more things into the environment that it's possibly absolutely needed. So, but you need something where people, when they open it, it must be the ultimate wow moment. If you miss out that, you're definitely only lucky that you got the gig, or you're absolutely number 2. Always great when you hear yeah, we had 3 on the short list and you have been number 2. Which A is in most times a lie, you just sucked. Yeah? And B, you can't buy anything from that. Next thing is the place. I was quite shocked that obviously, it is your own choice, but when we did the study on the speaker market, we had too many people where we were, could you go to X? And they were like, oh no, I don't speak in, and then there comes some sort of place. If you don't want to leave your country or your city or your house, I don't know. Yeah, so please tell your clients in advance where you are willing to go and where you are not willing to go. There is a reason why Randy Gage, one of the most well-known speakers in the world, said he is never, ever to do again what he has done 3 years ago. I think he was possibly, Shep, you can tell me, traveling 500,000 miles a year, 2 years in a row. Yeah. So, exactly. And then he had to take a year off, a full year off to recover from that. So we have a rule in my company. I have 120 days to sell. That's it. No exception. And the goal is to reduce that from 120 to 80 within the next 5 years by driving the same revenue without any loss. So set a number of days where you know that you are able to deliver these days, because otherwise this job may kill you. We just had it in Vancouver during the Worldwide Speaker Global Speaker Summit. A German colleague walked along with me with a couple of other people, and from one moment to the other, dropped unconscious. Simply too much stress for a couple of months in a row. Fortunately, nothing serious happened. But we don't need that. Prepare how much you're able to deliver. So, and then you build up your brand, and please, as already told, you ask an expert to build your brand. Reading books about branding is nice and possibly helps you a little, but you need experts for that. We hired an agency for that, and they did very good work. Very good work. But to build up a real brand, it takes experts. So now we have created the brand, we have communicated, and now how to sustain. And how to sustain is not that difficult. No tricks. I really have to keep down now, but I must admit I am absolutely sick of fake awards which have been sold to speakers, people showing up with awards they never received or they gave to a colleague and their colleague gave them another award back. We are faking to our clients sometimes, and it's getting more and more often. Possibly you actually do not have this in France. Prepare that this will show here. It went from the United States to Germany, and to Germany it will go somewhere else. Agencies which offer you prices as long as you pay a certain amount of money, and then you will be awarded the speaker of whatever of the year of company, blah, blah, blah. The real word for that is fraud, because that's it. No tricks about your brand. So if you have a basic price and the question is you have the fee, what can you do to get a higher fee? We worked out quite some things that actually, in most cases, I earn more money besides my fee than with my actual speaking engagement. So the first thing is complementary products. I always ask my clients, do you want that my speech is recorded? Most say yes, and I'm okay, that's no problem. It's like €9 per person in the room. Oh, that's fine. Very good. So if you speak for 300 people, €9 per person on their personal account is not much for them, but a lot for me. So ask them, for example, for recordings. Substitutive product. They can't afford you to show up. Can you deliver online? Do you have a platform which is able to deliver online for a large audience? Most worldwide speakers have that. Most German speakers I see have some sort of online meeting Skype thing. This is not adequate for presenting in front of an audience. So you need products which substitute you, for example, online products or a recording of you on CD to sell it to them if they can't afford you. Special services. We always offer, because I speak on leadership, a special coaching offer on the day after my speech. I have 8 slots available and we sell it normally very cheap for $490 per slot. This has 2 advantages. First, money in. Second, I get to know the top leaders of these companies. And what happens normally after that? We go together on LinkedIn, on Xing, or whatever platform, so I can do upselling on that. So offer special services which are connected to your main speech. Multi-dimensional pricing means when I say to my clients, do you want a recording? They say yes. I tell them, well, that's €9 per person. Wouldn't it be nice that people have it like on a USB stick? Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, that's €14. No problem. Wouldn't it be nice when it's branded with that? Yeah, of course. Yeah, that's €21. No problem. So you have a starting point, and then you just put up and you put up and you put up. You have a multi-dimensional product starting from an MP3 to a USB stick, to a branded USB stick, to a branded USB stick in a package, to a branded USB stick in a package as a present, and at the end it was thrown out of a helicopter with a parachute, and they all like that. Yeah. So multi-dimensional pricing. Single component pricing is always nice when people, for example, just want to buy your book in addition to your speech or whatever. But this doesn't make that much. This is why I put it pretty much down. Anything below the line, discount, commission, special commission, or mass bookings are more or less excuses because you are not sure about your price. Andreas Buhr, the president of the German Speakers Association, did one very good thing. A company asked to hire him for one speech. He did this speech and this is marvelous. You have to go to each and every location in the country. That's 40 days in this year. And he told them, well, no problem. Because they, of course, said, yeah, 40 bookings means we have to talk about the price. And he said, well, actually, we really have to. Because when I have half of the days I have available per year only with you, I have no time to develop my other clients. So I need a third more on the price. This was possibly not what they expected when they told him we should talk about and they agreed on that. And Andreas told me they agreed on that so quickly that definitely he was still too cheap. So if you're confident about your price, and someone wants to book you, for example, 40 days. And Andreas, the president of the GSA, said, when I'm with you for 40 days, I cannot develop any other client. I cannot show up anywhere. And this is why I have to have a higher fee, but the client expected a lower fee, what they didn't get. This is not my quotation, but if you're really confident about your fee, and if you felt really good with it, then the fee is only in your head. And who said that? Does anybody know? Jeffrey Gitomer. This was not planned. I didn't even know that Jeffrey Gitomer, when I have been booked here, I didn't even know that Jeffrey Gitomer was here. The fee is in your head. Don't copy fees of other people. You have to be confident with the fee you charge. 10 years ago, I would feel like drop that when I charged someone €6,000. 10 years ago, I was working for like €800. And there is only one quotation, which brings it more to the point what the whole price game is about. Le prix s'oublie, mais la qualité reste. Merci beaucoup.
Thank you, Niels. Okay, you want to time one question?